today, learners? How are you? It's always nice to see you again, my grade 7 learners. I hope you are in good condition and ready to learn a lot with me. Welcome to Valenzuela live streaming. I hope we will have all fun while learning more. Be with me as we dig deeper to the wonders of English 7. This is Mom Janelle, and I will help you learn English well. Last lesson, we discussed about discovering conflicts and resolving them in non-violent ways. For today's discussion, we have our most essential learning competency, which is to discover literature as a tool to assert one's unique identity and to better understand other people. After going through this lesson, you are expected to assert and appreciate one's unique identity in reading literature. Second, determine tone, mood, and purpose of the author. And lastly, compose a series of journal entries. We will use the alternative delivery mode module written by Ma'am Marisa D. Piquero, Master Teacher 1 from Valenzuela National High School. I think we are all set. Let us start by assessing what you know. Let's have an activity. Kindly match the name of the Filipino writer to his masterpiece. We have the mats, How My Brother Leon Brought Home a Wife, Noli Me Tangere, The Wedding Dance, and Capre. For the writers, we have Severino Reyes, Manuel Arguilla, Dr. Jose P. Rizal, Amador Daggio, and Francisco Arceliana. Don't worry, I'll give you time to answer. Let's check. Let's see the writer for the mats. If you answered E, Francisco Arceliana, you are correct. Number 2, How My Brother Leon Brought Home a Wife. The writer is none other than E, Manuel Arguilla. Number 3, Noli Me Tangere. We have, of course, Dr. Jose P. Rizal. Let's have the 4th literary text, The Wedding Dance. The writer is correct. Letter D, Amador Daggio. Lastly, we have Capre, and the author is none other than Severino. How many correct answers did you get? If you didn't get the perfect score, don't worry. We will dig deeper for you to become better. Can you still remember our lesson in the last streaming with Ma'am Donna? We have learned in the previous lesson that conflict is a literary device characterized by a struggle between two opposing forces. It is important in a story. Without it, there is no reason to relate the events. In addition, there are different types types of conflicts presented in literary selections, and there is a need for us to discover how to resolve those conflicts in non-violent. For today's discussion, we are still in literature. But first, let me ask you, what is so unique about Filipinos? What makes us Filipinos different from others? We are unique because we are using po and opo. We are also practicing pagmamano. We also have the spirit of bayanihan. We are known to have close family ties. Moreover, we're known to be hospitable. We also have fiestas, traditions, and pamahiin. These are some of our unique traits. Do you think the uniqueness of Filipinos is being reflected in our literature? What do you think? Good thinking. Yes, it is reflected in our literature. For example, if we're talking about love for our country, we have Noli Me Tangere. For resiliency, we have the resiliency of a Filipino. For close family ties, we have the Mass. And for the belief in the supernatural, we have Capre. These are some of the masterpieces that can show that the uniqueness of Filipinos is being reflected in different literary pieces. Remember, when we say literature, it entertains and educates us. It can teach us about the past, help us understand the present, and empower us to create the future. Literature helps us explore human nature, triumphs, shortcomings, and failures. Literature is a form of human expression. We can uncover the thematic message the author communicates to the reader, gain new perspectives, and learn from the experience of others, even if they are wrong. Do you know the quote, the more you read, the more things you know? The more that you learn, the more places you'll go? Yes, this is a famous quote from Dr. Seuss. Do you agree in this? Reading is a gateway to learning anything about everything. It helps you discover new things and educate yourself in any area of life you are interested in. You can find a book on just about any subject you can imagine. Dive in and start learning. You can also learn about others' interests through reading things they enjoy. However, reading will be rendered useless unless readers would be able to relate to the text or understand the text itself. We need to find meaning in the story or passage and help us feel more connected to the writing. That is why it is essential to distinguish the tone, mood, techniques, and purpose of the author. Tone is the writer's or speaker's attitude toward the subject of the passage. Tone may may be communicated through words and details that express particular emotions and that evoke an emotional response in the reader. Tone is the attitude of the narrator or viewpoint character toward story events or other characters. It is achieved through word choice, sentence construction, and word order, and by what the viewpoint character focuses on. These of tone words: accusatory, charging of wrongdoing; bitter, exhibiting strong animosity as a result of pain or grief; critical, finding fault; earnest, tense, clear state of mind; intimate, very familiar; matter of fact, accepting conditions, not fanciful or emotional; optimistic, hopeful, positive; clear, without deceit or pretense; genuine; solemn, deeply earnest, tending toward sad reflection. The way that someone voices a statement or the words an author chooses influences tone. Example: what are your plans for today? Aling Nena asked. I'm going to the store, Lisa responded. Or it can be, I'm going to the store, Lisa responded. Remember, author uses tone to create a mood. The mood of a passage is its emotional quality or atmosphere. In poetry, the choice of words, the length of lines, the rhythm, and other elements all contribute to creating a certain mood. In fiction, the setting often helps create the mood of the story. For example, there was a plenty of food and the music was playing. Everybody was having a good time. We can infer that the author gives the readers a mood or feeling of happiness and fun. These of moods: we have suspense, lonely, happy, angry, anxious, tense, suspicious, excited, depressed, scared, disgusted. Another term that is essential in reading is technique. It is the author's strategy that an individual author uses in his writing. It differs from author to author and depends on the grammar, choice of words, and tone of the individual. There are 4 basic literary styles used in writing. These styles distinguish the work of different authors from one another. We have descriptive, narrative, persuasive, and expository. Descriptive writing, painting a picture, immerses the reader into a story by creating a vivid picture of characters, settings, and events in their mind. Writers who use a descriptive writing style often use literary tools like similes and metaphors in their writing. The purpose of the descriptive writing style is to make the reader feel like they are experiencing the events for themselves. Most descriptive writing isn't very long. Examples include poems, personal journals, and narrative writing, telling a story, expands upon the descriptive writing style and tells an entire story with a beginning, middle, and end. Narrative writing style follows a clear storyline and plot, such as fictional novel, screenplay, or memoir. Writers who use a narrative writing style often use literary tools like foreshadowing and flashbacks in their writing. Persuasive writing, convincing, is used to convince or influence the reader to believe or do what the writer wants them to do. The persuasive writing style requires the writer to combine research and logical reasoning with an emotional connection that persuades the reader to adopt the writer's personal opinions and beliefs. Expository writing, just facts, used to inform, explain, or describe something to the reader. The expository writing style is one of the most common types of writing and answers questions the reader has, such as what, why, and how. When using an expository writing style, the writer needs to separate their opinion from the facts they are sharing. Author's purpose. It is the intention or reason of an author for writing about a topic. Inferring the purpose of the author or speaker is based on the overall idea of the piece. It is to persuade, to inform, and to entertain. To easily remember the author's purpose, let's remember the acronym PI. Aid, form, entertain. Knowing the author's purpose is as easy as PI. Persuade. To convince the readers to agree or disagree with the author's point of view or opinion on a subject. Authors with this purpose may give facts, but their main goal is to argue or prove a point to readers. The author or speaker tries to get you to do something or believe what he is saying. Examples of types are advertisements, billboards, commercials, opinions, reviews. Inform. Give factual and valid information about a subject. Authors with this purpose wish to provide facts that will explain or teach something to readers. Examples of types of text are encyclopedia, science and social studies textbooks, biographies. Entertain. To amuse and delight the reader's appeal to the reader's senses and imagination. Authors with this purpose set out to captivate the interest of the audience. Examples are science fiction, romance, and fantasy. A writer may have one specific purpose in mind other than to inform, entertain, or persuade. These are the general and specific purposes. For persuade, it is to argue, to convince, or to criticize. To inform, that is to analyze, clarify, or to explain. If it's to entertain, is to amuse, to delight, or to frighten. Let's have an activity. Read this passage and infer the tone, mood, and purpose of the author. Pets are funny too. They can make their owners laugh. Look at how some people wake up to see their big dogs on the bed while they sleep on the floor, or cats slowly pulling the plate of the fish on the table until it falls to give it a feast, or Myrna birds calling police even if it is you coming in. What is the author's tone in this selection? A. Acceptance. B. Dread. D. Disappointment. The tone of the author is A. Acceptance. Number 2. What is the mood of the selection? A. Tense and warm. B. Frustrated and excited. Or C. Light and easy. If you answered C, light and easy, you are correct. Part B, directions. Read the descriptions of each item and determine the author's purpose to entertain, persuade, or to inform. A pamphlet urging people not to eat animals or use products made from animals or animal suffering because the author thinks that is cruel and unnecessary. The author's purpose is what's your answer? The author's purpose is next. A book of over 1,000 knock-knock jokes. The author's purpose is correct, to entertain. Number 5. A cookbook containing recipes for making cakes, cookies, and other desserts. The author's purpose is correct, to inform. Number 6. The story of a young woman who, after death of her grandfather, quit her job in the business world and returned home to help her aging grandmother. The author's purpose is to entertain. Number 7. A politician's speech about how homes should be provided to families who cannot afford them. The author's purpose is to persuade. Part 3. Directions. Write T if the statement or idea is true, and F if the idea is false. Again, T or F only. Number 8. Themes about living harmoniously are also tackled in literature. The answer is D. readers cannot relate to fictional characters? You answered F. You are correct. Number 10. Literature does not help us explore human nature, triumphs, shortcomings, and others. The answer is F. Number 11. We can also learn from experiences of others. The answer is B. Number 12. Literary pieces help validate or invalidate our identities. The answer is E. For our last part, based on literature, choose the correct answer for the following item. Number 13. Which of the following is not true about Filipino identity? A. Filipinos take pride in their family. B. Filipinos are very religious. C. Filipinos are not proud of their race. Or D. Filipino compassion is reflected in their collective spirit and voluntarism. The answer is C. Filipinos are not proud of their race. Number 14. Why do we need to learn how to understand other people better? A. To help us function better and achieve more. B. To respond appropriately to the situations in life. C. To keep our lives safe and in some ways in control against fraud and danger. Or D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Last item. How can a writer use literature as a medium in asserting a person's unique identity? A writer's reason for writing can be manipulative, like propaganda. B. A writer can use fictional characters to reflect real-life stories. C. A writer can glamorize the characters to make them appealing to the readers. Or D. A writer should stop from writing about topics on violence, corruption, and abuse. The correct answer is B. A writer can use fictional characters to reflect real-life stories. How many correct answers did you get? I know you are doing an excellent job. I hope you have learned a lot in our discussion. Do you have any questions? This is your time to post your questions, and our teacher moderator will gather them, and I will answer some of them later. Post your questions now. Thank you for sending your questions to us. In case your questions will not be addressed today, don't worry. Will be answered and discussed by your English teacher during the follow-up discussion. I'll start answering our first question. How can tone, mood, and author's purpose affect the reader? Tone, mood, and author's purpose help better relate to audience emotions, needs, wants, and interests. The better the material can relate to them, the stronger their engagement with the content will be. They can build a connection between reader and writer by eliciting a response from the reader. Let's have our second question. What is the difference of tone and mood? Good question. Tone and mood can very easily be confused. Tone simply refers to how the author feels towards the subject or towards something. You will know what the author's tone is by implying the words he uses, while mood refers to the feeling of the atmosphere the author is describing. It is what the author makes you feel when you read his writing. You can read a sentence and feel sad, happy, or angry. Thank you for all the questions related to our topic. I know you are more ready to answer the task in your module. Kindly answer what's more, what I have learned, what I can do, and the assessment part. A journal writing activity is also part of the assessment. What is a journal? A journal is meant to collect your ideas and observations on any number of things and put the happenings of each day into writing. And this way, you are able to better remember what you did, what you thought, and what was happening when you were younger. Think of something that you should like to write in a journal. This is for 10 points. I thank you, dearest learners, for your support and active participation from day one up to this day. I also congratulate you for demonstrating your diligence, motivation, and determination to work at your best for this school year. Don't forget to thank the people around you and those that care for you. Always make good choices. Think before you act and respect yourself and others. This has been Mom Janelle, always reminding you to keep safe and have